If you are a fat person who is not being accommodated by a chair, an airplane, an MRI, etc., know this. They knew fat people existed when they built those things, but chose not to accommodate us. That is discrimination. While it becomes our problem, it is never our fault. Uh, all right. So, accommodation. Accommodation. Listen, there's always someone fatter. You're never going to make an MRI that can fit everyone unless you make it the size of a fucking spaceship. You do realize those things cost a lot of money. You do realize that airplanes can only be so big before they become like unable to actually fly. They need to make money, so they need to have enough room and seats to make it profitable, so they can fly you in the air around the world. And chairs come in all different shapes and sizes, and there's just tons of different chairs. The problem is the average person is so much more fucking obese that you don't just redo and recreate all these airplanes and MRIs and chairs every year as people's body mass just increases exponentially. So over the past 10, 20 years, you think everyone's gonna be like, oh, let's just make all these brand new MRI machines. Let's just build all these brand new airplanes. Airplanes are not brand new. These planes that are in the air have been in the air for like 30 years, 40 years sometimes. Some of these planes have been around for a hot minute. So, yeah, I mean, things are made for the vast majority of people. Just because you might be abnormally obese doesn't mean that everyone should be mobilizing around you. So, this logic would be like, how do you fix that? I'm just saying, how do you fix that? Let's say you have bigger seats on a plane. Guess what's going to be complained about next? You have bigger seats on a plane. Let's say you make, how big does those seats have to be? If you made the seats bigger or big enough, let's say you made the seats bigger, each seat big enough to fit like at the most a 600-pound person. You'll have like 10 seats on a plane, and each seat would cost like $5,000. So if you make the seats bigger, even slightly, you are cutting into profits huge, which makes these private companies less likely to be able to serve you because it's going to be out of your pay range. Then you're going to complain that it's too expensive. An MRI machines are, God, how many millions of dollars does it cost for an MRI machine? They're huge, big old fucking magnets, and it's a big old thing. It's a big old thing, and they're very, very, very expensive. So they can't just make them whatever size that they want. I don't know how to make an MRI, but I'm assuming they make them that way for a fucking reason. I'm assuming they made it optimally for some purpose. They knew fat people existed when they built those things. Well, I guess they knew that tall people, not everything fits everyone. There are tall people too. Like there has to be an average. There has to be a normal. The problem is people are becoming so abnormal so quickly, you can't just redo the entire world all of a sudden. I don't know. It seems like if you took care of your health, it would solve all these problems. That's discrimination. It's not discrimination. It's just not convenient for you. What about LeBron James or someone who's born abnormally tall? I know I'm not talking about anything else about LeBron James. Like him, hate him, doesn't matter. But someone who's like 7 foot tall, they're going to have to duck under doors. Does that mean, oh my God, this building wasn't made for a tall person? That's discrimination. Nah, it's a very small percentage of the population's super, super tall. And obesity has just exploded over time. So everything's getting bigger. I don't know what you're talking about, honestly. Things are getting bigger. Every time I go out, if I'm going out somewhere and I'm sitting in a booth, the table is like 3 feet away from my body because I'm not morbidly obese. I can fit into a booth, but there's so much room between the table and me. Going to buy clothes. Now I buy small, maybe a medium. I wear a size small in shorts. There are some shorts that I buy to like work out in. I wear an extra small in some of these things. Small shorts. An extra small or a small. I'm not getting any smaller. It's just the sizing is becoming so completely upside down. It's just completely getting expanded because of waistlines. So everyone's getting fatter and fatter. So the average medium is now a small. Now you have to make them bigger because a large doesn't fit a large person. A large is going to fit someone who's, or a large before was to fit a large person. And now a large is going to be something that's going to fit someone who's like really, really big, because now a small is what someone, so if I used to wear a medium or a large, now I wear a small. So all the size are being stacked down because you have to make more room for those double and triple XLs, which are, everyone's getting bigger. Everyone's getting bigger.